If you cheat, you get booted. Yeah, banned. Got it. Egg on 1. Banned. Goofy. All right. Everybody, good. Looks like we're good. Let's just gonna send it. No eggs, you bastards. You push the worker. Start with 250 like normal. Okay? Start like 250 like normal. This will give you guys the same gold, etc. as normal. All right, yeah. So I got confirmation from brother-in-law. He is good. He is just a little annoyed. Okay, so if I look at your roll this time, Seek, you've got Poda for mid to late game, which is great. You've got Bunk for mid to late game. I'd say your T1, you should probably go with like maybe Bone Warrior. I'm trying to just think how you want to open here. You could Grarl into Bunk, Seek. Not great for what you have, but it's an option. Otherwise, you have the ability to go... You could go Daphne Open. Daphne Open's not bad here. Right, like I look at every roll of like, how can I make this work in terms of start? And that's one that'd be a thing. You could Poda start here, but if you're not comfortable with Poda, it's a little bit of a sketchy option. I think this roll looks fine. Chris, you gotta buy them. You gotta buy Mastermind options. You gotta buy them in the shop. It's all in-game essence, though. All right, Seek, I will say I'm not super versed in Poda. I'm a little nervous about your mid-game tank options, but you should be okay. If I were you, Seek, I would try to go as soon as possible into an Aziria for mid to early game, right? So like, Grarl into Aziria ASAP, if possible. You snail here, Seek. Good snail, good snail. Got hissed pretty good. I think Hiss would have leaked without snail, to be honest. He's a little newer of a player, so this might be a little bit of a shit stomp situation, but... See, we got a 20 on 1. You do not need to worry about a send here. It looks like you did, so you don't need to worry about send here. You're basically good on the next couple waves. So you're good 3-4, or just 2-3. If they can send you a DT, which, looking at in Mojo, without knowing his actual worker count, or without knowing his Mythium count, right, because you can probably see it on my stream, I would say he probably can get a DT to you, right? He sent 20 on 1, not a 20 on 2. You can probably send a DT. You just need like a tier 1 here in the split. So like what, 2.5, 3 down on the right hand side should theoretically be all you need. So like, yeah, about 2.5 down. 3.5 down is usually where I go. So just behind like your I would maybe say go 1 higher, but that should be fine. That should be fine. I think it's 3.5, so like, yeah, I think there is your optimal placement. Correct, Systics. In Mojo should not have built anything with a fire elemental there. Yep, so without it going half a square up there, you would not have pulled enough aggro, and I think it might have been a little problematic. With you having Ranger here, you'll hold no matter what, but if you didn't have Ranger here, you're going to need that half a square up to hold. If you guys notice anything in chat, in stream, let people know. I'm trying to kind of focus on Seek right now because he's going to be doing coaching in the future. It's just a little difficult to keep up otherwise. Everyone. Seek with a 40 there, you can probably push, yeah, a good couple workers. I would start looking at now maybe going for... I was going to say maybe going for a Grarl. But you can get by... Bone Crusher's fine. I was going to say you could also get by with potentially going something like even a Serpent here. All works. Crusher gives you a good tank for the next couple waves. Going on Carla and Last Queen. How you guys doing? Getting small aggro on your Poda now, which is fine. That's actually what you want, realistically. If people want to spectate and also help other people out by jumping into a Discord call, completely fine. Jump in the lobby. It's hard for me to really showcase everybody, though. No send here, right, Seek? I would try to get a send out and get a Grarl here. Trying to think on how you may want to hold. Grarl or a Ranger upgrade. Ranger upgrade is going to be better on 6 as well. And then you don't got to sell. So maybe Ranger up here. And then Grarl on 6 within range of the Poda. Maybe next to your Badger. That's a couple squares down. That's the first iron scales. Probably there for the Grarl. Allows your Poda to take a little aggro based on this. And then it allows you to sell it, then get a Aziria on say wave 7 or 8. Gives you that option. You also have the option for Bunk early as well. I think the Crusher might be just a little too high. Maybe a square back, so just right above the current Bone Warrior probably would have been more optimal. For future reference, you're pulling almost everything onto the Crusher, whereas you want maybe like a 40-60 split more so. Right, so 40% goes on what will eventually be the Aziria early game. 60% goes on the Crusher side. It's not bad, but something to keep in mind for the future. You got sent pretty hard there, but you are under. So definitely say Grarl and like right there. Yep, that should work. Yes. Should allow you to get maybe one unit or so on the Poda. Will allow you to then shift as well. .40 resend, beautiful. No aggro on your Poda, which is not ideal, right? You want a little bit of aggro on the Poda. That's kind of the best way to utilize it because it does have that healing spell. You should full hold though. You could even theoretically push here, but just make sure you get something that's good for next wave. So even just a... You need 160. You need 160 here to get a Bunk, which I would personally go for here, just to make sure I'm good. Otherwise, you can try to shift and go for Aziria, like just full shift here. You might be able to get away with it. It seems like they're income sending you every wave, though, right? Yeah, if they're income sending you every wave, I would say full shifting is maybe not recommended with your build. You've got quite a sketchy build to full shift with when you're already kind of bad on the wave. So Bunk here, right behind the Daphne, I think would be a decent option, because that's 200. Yes. The Daphne's currently 2 squares down, so it should give you decent split tanking. Otherwise, you can also try to go for a second Grarl here to an Aziria on 8. Losing out on 30 gold, though, isn't necessarily my love language. Kind of see what you do here. Another Grarl. Okay, that works. Ooh. Hermit into you is not actually that great. Probably full hold. Or half square up in the split. Yeah. This is what I mean by though, like Xeria tanks really well, especially on some of these like arcane waves. Oh, barely didn't hold. Again with the send here, you can probably just fucking push. Maybe go for another Daphne, but then kind of good. Xeria, you probably want Xeria by 9 if you're gonna push here. Just get another Daphne out. Probably income send to try to make sure you're getting good push. Like with him sending every wave on you, you should probably just consistently push. Just the Hermit stinks, but it's not a big deal. You're still getting what 6 gold from it. Or you could sell one of your Grarls, like the one that's in the front, and go Bunk right there. Bunk's also good on 9. Not a bad option. Bunk into a Haven on 10 is an option. If you have Bunk right where... That should work. Not sure. Again, this is a little I don't use Poda often, I should say, but it should work. Okay, so yeah, on a non-ranged wave, this should work fine. You actually got more aggro on the Poda than I was expecting, or less aggro on the Poda than I was expecting. But it seemed like it worked out nicely. I would push pretty hard here. Honestly, you're really good the next 2 waves. Another 60 cent, so probably like 1-2 at least. The option is right. If I hovered over my gold here and I saw that I would have enough to still get a Grarl down next wave, I would definitely push another worker. If I can get Grarl down and also push the worker, push 2 there. You want another Grarl though, I think, to try to like sustain you a little bit next. Kind of depends. It's like 212. I would probably place a Grarl, push a worker. Grarl and split maybe wouldn't be a terrible idea. Otherwise, you could go another Daphne. Yeah, 5 under works. Yep. So I'd push another. Yep. And then it's 420 you want, so 420 minus 130 is 290. If you can get 290, you can get Haven next, which would be fine. Yeah, the mole here. What spells do you got? Villain on Priestess is really good. You'll see a Protector on 11. Just a heads up for Xeria. Pretty good split tank here for you. If you kill Mole, I'm happy. Kill Mole, nice. Your Poda survive? No. Oh, very close, very close. Quite a lot of leaks out of everyone. So again, shoot for that 290 target so you can either get Bunk upgraded or go for Poda here, Xeria here, I should say. Go for Xeria upgraded here maybe is also another good option. You need only 350, so you just need to be at 250, so it's 130, right? Depending on how your value's looking here. If you want to hold this wave, I'd probably say sell the Grarl on the left-hand side and upgrade the Bunk and do Haven. And then you can go the other option of protecting your Poda next with Villain. The banger's out, chat. Mole here is kind of an odd send by them. Not gonna lie, I don't love it. I think it does kind of negate some of the Haven damage, but Haven still slaps, so works out nicely. People often underwrite Haven for 10, but it's extremely good. You can push pretty good here, Seek. You just need to make sure you have 130 to sell that other Grarl and push for the Aziria here. A lot of leaks on the enemy team. That's good for you guys. Hit. Solo gets bossed to 320. Yeah. 3,200, excuse me. Not 320, but 3203. Villain on the Aziria is what I would do, Seek. And then sell the Grarl on the right, and I'd go for the Aziria. And then just protect your Aziria. So, I'd place like 1 or 2 Bone Warriors. No. So I'd place a Bone Warrior right where the, right in front of your Bone Crusher, like 2 ahead. So you have more that goes to the right, but then your Bone, yep, one more there. One more in front. One down from that, but yeah, that works. You just want to protect it. Sorry, I couldn't think. You want to protect it so it doesn't take full aggro, but it takes some. Right? Like this is perfect. It's taking a handful of shots. Then the bunk should take the rest. It's a little weird looking, but it works. Again, I'd say you could probably push 2 or 3 here. You'll full hold this, no problem. Do you have your reroll still, Seek? If you do, I would recommend maybe looking at getting rid of Serpent. Your build's a little too far forward, I think, for Serpent to be effective. I can't see your reroll, though, I don't think. If you have it still. If not, no big deal. You could theoretically drop Poda. Oh, Disciple. Nice. So I would sell the Bone Warrior on the right now. You don't need that high of a split anymore. And then at this point, it's kind of a preference on what you want to do. You have the option to add another unit to the split in a bunk, so you have double bunks in both sides. Otherwise, you can start prepping for the later game phase where you start getting some Disciples down. A Disciple, even where your Aziria isn't necessarily even a bad option, right? Discipling the Aziria is decent. But you get a resend again here, which is phenomenal. You're getting okay split aggro. 3 units are taking aggro, which is just fine. I'd probably again push 3 workers off this. You're sitting in a good spot. Just make sure you don't undercut your income. I should say that, right? You're pushing really hard, so make sure you continuously send, because you're going to start getting into a point now where you're going to need that value, right? Your current tank situation's a little sketchy on 13, so be careful. Sen's going on Aziria's side is not necessarily a huge deal, Gosu, but yeah, split on the right-hand side would be nice. Again, here on some of these waves. I'd maybe sell a Bone Warrior and get another Grarl. Be better off than shifting full. Grarl can be on left or right side. Doesn't matter. I think right may be better. Doesn't matter. Perfect. Works. But at this point, the Disciple and Bunk and stuff are close enough, so the sentence shouldn't really matter too much. Unless you're referring to a 4 Eyes, then yes. 4 Eyes would be not great to be on the Aziria. Again, easy push 2 worker here. I'd look at maybe Haven on the split. Split side. Haven would be decent. You've got a lot of Mythium saved up, so what are you doing here? You're going Shaman on 14. Huh. Into what your guy has? You're sending it Hist, right? Shaman pack. Not terrible. That might get him. Trying to think on what I would do differently there. It's a tough call. I would think Pack Leader for sure. Pack Leader for sure is nice in this situation. But I'd maybe say Pack Leader and Ogre might be better. Pack Leader, Ogre, maybe Mole, depending on what he builds. But yeah, Haven here's fine. And maybe place a unit, again, half up on the right-hand side so that your Aziria isn't going to take aggro on like 15. But it's kind of a... You want it to take your aggro, but you don't want it to die. Oh, Hist dropped a Poda there. Interesting. Okay. Non-upgraded. I'm not sure if his send's going to get through. No send onto our boy here. So Seek, I'd say with a no send into you here, you're probably looking at getting pretty hard sent 15, right? Or 16 at that matter. I don't think the Disciples are a bad choice right now. I don't think the Shaman was the play here. I think even a 4 Eyes might have been better. The Shaman just doesn't do a whole lot. You get through. You do get through, but just Shaman gets through. I think you might have been able to get through more. Shaman is going to do decent king damage. Yeah, 4 Eye for Kingpin, or Ogre for Kingpin, I think was probably better. It's a shiny object, though. Shamans sound great. Shaman 15 is always a good option, but Shaman 14 is not as great. It depends heavily on what I guess you're sending. If you send Shaman and 4 Eyes, okay, I can get behind that. You're buffing the 4 Eyes then. You're pretty under here. Disciple might not be a bad play, and then maybe add a couple more Disciples on it. You're going to start needing tanks, though, so a King Claw isn't necessarily a bad option as well. King Claw is not a bad option. You did place the King Claw and the Grarl into a good spot. And then maybe another Bone Warrior for another Grarl in the split on the right. That works. There you got. If you got a Shaman here, I'd say maybe you're a little worried, but you're good on this wave, so like you're pretty fine, honestly. I would say at this point, maybe add a couple more Disciples, right? Like around the Starcaller. But outside of that, man, you're looking pretty good. Your building placements have been pretty solid on the ones that I just kind of quickly tell you to just place this unit. Which I know I do that often because it's a little hard to explain exactly where you should place it, X, Y, and Z. The Villain Poda, though, looking nice. Or I should say Aziria at this point. Is Villain Aziria looking real nice. I can't really see what your damage is, sadly, but wish there was a way I could do that. You guys aren't taking much from this. I don't think 4 Eyes is bad here. Maybe look at potentially a... Again, sounds dumb, but a Pack Leader here. Pack Leader Mole might have been a good option again. 4 Eyes is good, though. Maybe another King Claw on the left-hand side. I think that's enough gold for another King Claw. I'd say left-hand side King Claw if you were going to do it. Otherwise, Grarl on the left is fine too. King Claw on the right's fine. Sorry. That should work. I think at this point you need to focus more on your left-hand side. Like the current bunk situation you have is fine. Like on the right, it's taking more aggro, which is not necessarily, I guess, beneficial when you have king calls on the left, but you're getting through all of your stuff on the left before right hand gets to you, which is great. I'd even say you can add another bunk on the right if you added another thing, but you're looking pretty good. Your disciples are doing good work. You're like easy holding, so I'd push pretty good off this. Your next big worry wave is honestly 18, so play for 18. 18 and 19, really? 18, 19 are your worry waves. Disciples are really good on both of those waves, so keep that in mind. Disciples are not a bad option for you. Disciples really aren't a bad option most of the time late game, though, so keep that in mind. I would place the bunk outside of the disciple circle if I were you. So like if you want to do this, I'd just place bunk in the split. So like upper split, so maybe a full square ahead of the current bone crusher. Just place it there, you should be fine. So here-ish. Yeah. And then at most you can place like a single unit on the left-hand side in front of your disciples if you're worried about them getting rushed. But you should be fine. Yeah, so maybe a single Bone Warrior in the left-hand side in front of the Poda, so that the units don't hit the Disciples. Otherwise, finish the Disciple circle. Send Shamans next. Right, Shaman on 18 is a good idea. Outside the Podas, he's got nothing. Shaman and then an Ogre, maybe? You got 200, right? Ogre gets through the majority of his build. Ogre, otherwise 4 eyes if you got a leak out of anybody. Which it seems like you would have got a leak out of in Mojo, so waiting for Ogre after would have been fine. 4 eyes after would have been fine, but it's completely good. Then maybe look at, okay, what else can I send? If I want fodder units, I'm looking at Dragon Turtle spam here. If I want something that's good, I'd maybe send a Mole after income as an option. Or in income it would have been at that point, but it's fine. So again, finish the Disciple Circle. You can maybe add another bunk up front to the left of your in front of your Azeria. Maybe a couple more King Claws. At this point, you just need tanks, realistically. You just need tanks. And then maybe another Grarl in the back. I'd put the Grarl down to the right instead, like behind the current King Claws, because you can maybe make even an Ocean Templar circle around the Grarls if you feel like it. Yep, that works perfect. At this point, just keeping your DPS units alive is really your goal, right? Your bunk in the backside not taking aggro stinks, but at the end of the day, it's doing a job still. It's still going to protect your DPS units from the split. I'm actually impressed with how long the split's staying alive. You should hold this, no problem. I would push pretty good off this. You're good now on 19. Prepare fully for 20 at this point. Prepare fully for 20, so I would do a Disciple Circle with a Starcaller if I could for 20. But it looks like the game might just end here.
Shut down.
Looks like the game just probably ends here, so we're looking decent. Shaman's on 18, guys. I told you.
Victory.
Yikes, you guys all leaked hard. The flight diff, yeah. Flight difference makes a difference. Seek, has this been beneficial for you? Trying to just get a gauge on how this has been going. Oh, Zirian, that's rough. Have a good one, Maz. Yeti, right now I'm doing some coaching stuff. Goofy in a classic game, right, or 4v4, it's much better to income, like, honestly, 1 to 15 than go for kills later. All right. All right. I'm not on your team, though. Yeah, sorry, Hiss. As Shadow said, it really depends on what's going on. But yeah, like in this game, you have a lot of option variety in what you can do. So kind of depends on how you want to play the game, right? Goofy. In a 4v4 mode, it's a little different. A little different. As you go up in ladder, communication improves, usually. But I'm talking to Seek a little bit right now, right? Like, in my philosophy and how I play the game, your build and your value is much more important than what you're sending to your enemy. Because without you holding, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you holding is the majority of early elos, in my opinion. You know, holding that long save from 3 to 6. will win you the game right there, right? Minimizing your mistakes, maximizing your ability to push and gain advantage. Once you get to the point like where Shadow can literally be 200 under on every fucking wave and hold, that's a different story. Then at that point, you're not trying to minimize your mistakes so much as you're trying to maximize your ability to push the limits, right? What or who is Shadow? Shadow is the thing that follows you around when there's lights. No, Shadowings is a what, current top 25 player, top 15, top 10 player in the game, and he long saves a lot. It's not you? No, it's not you. I do not have a video on long saving necessarily, but a lot of my ranked games talk about them. There you go. There's Shadow's daily video. Saving your Mythium for next game. Saving Mythium for next game. That's usually what Shadow does. Shadow will save from literally 3 to 10. 1 to 10. He's done it. He'll do it. Two first ones in history, huh? All right. Yeah. Any Mythium you have at the end of your game goes in your bank account, of course. Of course. Exactly, Cork. That's 100% how this works. It's imaginary Krakens, but that's how it works.